Hello, this is psychologist Yulia Latunenko with you, and today I want to talk to you about a problem such as the inability to choose something, the inability to make a decision. Very often in my psychotherapy groups, I hear that people find it very difficult to make even a simple choice, to buy one thing or another, to make one decision or another, how to act this way or that, what to say or whether to say anything at all or maybe just stay silent. And all of this inner turmoil makes a person's life unbearable. A person spends a huge amount of energy just being stuck in a stupor, especially when it comes to life-changing decisions. That's when things really get out of hand. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe, give this video a like, and let me know in the comments if you have this problem. Or have you seen people who have certain issues with making decisions or choices? At the end of this video, I will definitely tell you how to improve the situation and what exactly you can do to make it easier to make one decision or another. But first, let's start by understanding the reasons behind this phenomenon, why it's difficult to make decisions or to come to a decision. And the first reason for this problem is narcissistic parents who made decisions for the child, who conveyed to the child that any decision they made could be wrong or bad, who devalued the child's decisions, devalued the child's opinions, and set unrealistically high expectations that the child could never meet, because the bar was always being raised higher and higher. And the child grew up with low self-esteem, lacking confidence in themselves, doubting the correctness of their own thoughts, and even more so, doubting whether they are even capable of making any decision at all. The second reason is childhood traumas, as a result of which a person comes to make such decisions. Of course, this decision is made by the child back in childhood, somewhere in adolescence, that they have no right to make any mistakes. That is, everyone else has the right to make mistakes, but this person does not. They must always be perfect and must always do everything successfully. This is a kind of narcissistic trauma that the child receives as a result of childhood wounds. The fourth reason is codependency, which is familiar to all of us. Also, the result of childhood trauma, when a person is financially, mentally, and emotionally dependent on their parents, they are afraid of losing the connection, emotional connection with their parents. That's it. This problem is exacerbated when parents manipulate the child using guilt and the threat of losing emotional connection. This is frightening for the child, and as a result, they are afraid to make any decision for which they might be punished by their parents. That's why a situation like codependency blocks the ability to make any decisions and creates a sense of helplessness and powerlessness in a person. The fifth reason for this problem is the feeling of shame. A person is afraid to experience failure, to make a decision and then fail. This is very frightening. Shame completely blocks the ability to make any decision. Because if a person makes decision number one and fails, especially in the eyes of others, they are afraid of looking like a loser. This really blocks the ability to choose. The second decision can also lead to failure and fiasco. That's why a person lives in constant avoidance of the feeling of shame. They are afraid of looking like a loser, ridiculous, or foolish in the eyes of others. So, of course, shame blocks decision making. Making a choice becomes very difficult. Essentially, all of this is the result of childhood traumas. We've already discussed the reasons. So, what should you do to get rid of this problem? And the first thing I put right at the top of the list is to work through your childhood traumas. This work should be focused on addressing codependency, feelings of shame, and guilt. You need to work on your self-esteem, build self-confidence, and develop a healthy attitude toward yourself. But how do you do that, you might ask? Is it really possible to achieve this just by reading a bunch of books or watching Yulia Latunenko's videos on YouTube? No. This requires time and your own effort. The second thing you need to do, if you have absolutely no way to get psychotherapeutic help, then I suggest you accept one simple thing. Any choice always involves a loss. I offer my clients a little life hack. By accepting the fact that every choice always involves some kind of loss, you need to write 2 columns. Choice number 1, choice number 2. And if there is a third option, then make 3 columns, choice number 3. And analyze what I will lose if I make the first decision, what I will lose if I make the second decision, or the third or the fourth. You need to write down these drawbacks of each choice. For people with unresolved traumas, it is always very difficult to accept any kind of loss because it is frightening. When a person's psyche is not mature, they are always afraid of losses. For them, losses can mean equal death. Such feelings can even occur. But here I suggest you change your attitude toward losses and accept the fact that our life consists of both gains and losses losses are a part of our life. Life begins with birth, it ends with death. The sun rises, we have morning outside the window, and then it sets, we lose it and have night outside the window. At some point, our beautiful renovation gets ruined. Sometimes we lose our job, or maybe sometimes we lose money, relationships. Everything in this life is temporary, so we need to accept that our world is arranged in such a way that loss is a part of it. If you don't accept this, if you fight against the way this world is arranged, you waste a ton of energy for nothing, just fighting windmills, like Don Quixote. You need to accept this fact and direct your energy towards something constructive, towards some new project. If you've fallen to your knees, lost something, get up, move on, and do something new. Because when something disappears, when we lose something, it creates space for something new. To accept the fact that life consists not only of pleasant things, but also of losses. To accept the fact that any choice is a choice in favor of losing some benefits, some perks. I personally had to go through a long journey of individual therapy and group therapy. I went through many hours of therapy to become calmer, more confident in myself and in my choices. To accept that, my choices are not mistakes, that the choice I made at any given moment in my life was the right one, because it is exactly what led to my growth, to my development. Even if the consequences of that choice were painful for me, any negative relationships, any losses, all of it is so that we become stronger, so that we grow up, so that we free ourselves from codependency. Because at the core of codependency lies the fear of loss. Unfortunately, my psychotherapists were not philosophers, so I had to build, a certain concept of a philosophical existential approach to life on my own. And I had to do some kind of deep inner work by myself. Of course, with the help of psychotherapists, but it took a lot of time. Now, having gone through this journey, I know how to help people achieve great results in a much shorter time. That's why I became a psychotherapist, and now I try to help people be happy, improve their quality of life, and not get stuck in their childhood traumas. And of course, at the end of this video, I ask you to subscribe to my channel if you're watching without a subscription, and also to like this video or dislike it if you didn't enjoy it. And write in the comments whether you have such problems with making choices. Do you have any issues with the fear of missing out on something at all? It will be very interesting to read your comments and learn your opinion on this matter.